Now at 5, a trip to the top of the highest peak in the Northeast.
Talking about Mount Washington, which boasts some of the wildest weather in the world. Tonight, WBZ's Jacob Wyckoff is taking us along for the ride as he travels up thousands of feet to the weather lab that sits on top.
Welcome to Mount Washington. Standing at nearly 6,300 feet, Mount Washington is the tallest peak in New England and a place unlike any other. It's called the Rock Pile, and it's home to the world's worst weather. If you've ever driven your car up the mountain in the summertime, you know it's a white-knuckle ride. In the middle of winter, there's only one way up, with the help of this snowcat. It's a combination of a bus and a plow on wide, tank-like tracks. The snowcat makes a weekly shift change ride up the mountain. During our slow ascent, we see the landscape and the environment change right before our eyes. The first 2,500 feet or so is deciduous forest, mainly maple and beech trees. Between 2,500 and 4,000 feet, the forest is evergreen, like spruce and fir. Then we see the crumples, a word that literally means crooked wood. These dwarfed and misshapen trees have been shaped by many years of fierce winds through the mountains. But it's not just the wicked trees that has our eye. Here at 4,000 feet, we're left with a great view of a lenticular cloud over Clay, Jefferson, Adams, and Madison on our way to the peak of the presidentials, Mount Washington. Above this, the Alpine Zone. Some of the harshest living conditions for man and plants. This is also where our trip up slowed to a snail's pace. Huge snowdrifts blocked the road, so the snowcat had to plow us up. The constant back and forth would make even the hardiest of sailors sick. 3.5 hours after our trek started, we arrive at the observatory.
Hey, Steven. Hello.
But it's not like we could see much. Mount Washington is obscured by clouds about 60% of the time, even while everywhere else has sunshine. And after a quick unload, it's time for the new crew to take over.
Freezing fog, vertical visibility.
Jay Brocklow is a weather observer for Mount Washington Observatory, an important role to maintain the 90-year data set as scientists continue to study the climate trends for our tallest peaks.
The main goal is just making sure our data is actually accurate to what's happening in the atmosphere. For me, it's really being able to forecast, see the weather, and then record the data as it actually happens. Yeah. And it's like the best way to verify your forecasts.
So we suited up to verify Jay's forecast.
Open our storm door here. Barely see the end of the observation deck. Okay. Which is about 250 feet.
Socked in the fog.
And it does look like the rhyming is still building. Usually what I like to do is I like to break something off to see how it's building.
Thumbs up. Wind gusting 60 miles per hour, wind chills 30 below. How extreme of a day is today compared to the worst?
Yeah, well, it's just compared to the worst. On a scale of worst being a 10, I'd put this at like a 4.5.
4.5,
yeah.
All right.
And just as quickly as our trip started, we loaded up the snowcat to head back down the mountain.
After that really long trip up, the return trip was back to normal, only about 90 minutes, and it's now balmy, back into the teens for temperatures. At the base of Mount Washington, I'm meteorologist Jacob Wyckoff, WBZ News.
All right, I just got a little bit of a stomachache the way that you were riding like right along that cliff there. Was this your first time up there?
It was. It's sort of like a meteorologist mecca.
Yeah.
You have to go there and experience it. Yeah.
And you said you were in a blizzard, what, 2 months ago, and you said this was like that even though it was a generic day.
Yeah, it's an average day to get 60-mile-an-hour winds, 30 below. This was a winter day for them. So there it is. And there's me. It's really cold. You have to watch out for frostbite. I know that you went up. I have to give you major props because you hiked up.
Well, so you were up there just a couple of days before me. My brother and I hiked up. There I am looking like a goofball. And you see the day I had, look how sunny it was. And it's funny because you're a meteorologist and you got the lousy day and I'm just a regular guy and I got a great day. We made it to just under the summit and then we had some boot issues. That's a story for another day. But it's amazing how steep it is. That's the thing that caught me off guard.
I was very surprised at the steepness of the road even. So,
all right, so if you're out there and you want to do something really silly, go ahead and try it.
Yeah.
Lisa, back to you.
I just really enjoyed your stories from that. You're both amazing. Thank you. Next.